What does possibility mean to you?
That's a hard question.
Something that you can strive for.
That I'm able to do anything I set my mind to.
You're confident in yourself and you believe in yourself. Stuff that you could achieve.
I feel excited. Anything is possible when you're more confident.
Shoes are a huge part of that.
They are the most important part of my style.
You can express yourself.
In the right shoes, anything is possible.
DSW, countless shoes at brag-worthy prices. Imagine the possibilities.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Welcome to the Kulturecast. Oh, god damn it, Eric. Every fucking time. I am Chris Stachiw, and I'm joined by my comrade in arms, Eric Kniss.
Hello. I am, God, I can't do Russian, and I really can't do Arnold trying to do Russian, which is just Arnold just doing his regular voice, so I guess I don't have to really do anything all that different. You just do a shitty Arnold impression.
And we are joined by former staff writer for Culture Shocked and a movie maker in his own right, Oscar Moreno.
Hello.
Welcome back, Oscar. It's been a while.
Thank you. Yes.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. More than enough.
But, we have Oscar Garza on staff now, though. So
yeah, man.
Oscars are still at Culture Shocked in one form or another.
Yeah, he's my doppelganger.
He kind of is.
Oh, no.
Are you? I've never seen the two of you in the same place at the same time, so are you sure you're not just the same person?
No, wouldn't it be the other way around? If we were in the same room the whole time, that would mean that we're actually the same person?
It's true.
Oh my god, he just got so deep.
You just blew my fucking mind.
Oh my god.
Shit. So, on this episode of the Kulturecast, we're finally kicking off Schwarzenegger September after a miscue last week because I was sick as fuck. So
I watched Conan, so...
I know. I watched Conan too. It's just, it's kind of hard to do a podcast when you don't have a voice.
That movie is not great. Just gonna be honest.
But we're talking about a buddy cop film that stars everyone's favorite Belushi brother, Jim. According to Jim.
I don't know. I'm a John Belushi guy.
Yeah, everybody is. And like you mentioned, Eric, Arnold Schwarzenegger as a Russian. We're talking the little-known film, the little-regarded film, Red Heat. The IMDb synopsis for the film is: a tough Russian policeman is forced to partner up with a cocky Chicago police detective when he is sent to Chicago to apprehend a Georgian drug lord who killed his partner and fled the country.
Look, just out of curiosity, how do you Soviets deal with all the tension and stress? Vodka.
Police Captain Ivan Danko came from behind the Iron Curtain.
Danko, you're welcome.
Hunting down his country's deadliest criminal.
What did he do? He take a leak on the Kremlin wall or something? I need cooperation. Sure. Whatever you say, Gumby.
Now, he's about to team up.
What do you say? He say, go and kiss your mother's behind.
With the most unpredictable cop.
How you doing, honey?
Drop dead.
Thank you.
On the streets of Chicago.
You look like Marvin Hagler to me. I lost money on Hagler. Capitalism.
He's got his own kind of style.
Body language is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
He's got no style at all.
Chicago cop never relinquishes his weapon. Here.
Ridzik is a good cop.
Police!
And a total expert at fouling up.
You did not make it, Victor.
He killed a Chicago police officer. Chicago gets him first.
I have my honor.
With this much friction,
I give up. This whole thing's very Russian.
there's gotta be heat.
I take care of this.
Red heat.
You know what we call this? This is called chicken. But you're not supposed to play with boxes. You ready to swerve?
Arnold Schwarzenegger, James Belushi, in a Walter Hill film.
Nice work, Gumby.
Thank you.
I didn't mean that.
I know.
Red heat.
All right, Oscar, since it's your first time back in quite a long time, what did you think of Red Heat?
Well, it's one of those, the kind of like part of the huge onslaught of body cop movies that were very much present throughout the 80s and the 90s. It's one of them. I would say that it's pretty entertaining, for that kind of movie, but it pretty much follows all the beats you get to follow for that kind of film. But it does a good job of distinguishing itself from that kind of movie. First of all, by having Arnie as a Russian, and that's kind of like the part of the movie. Because other than that, it's pretty standard in that regard. It's definitely the kind of movie you would expect to find, back in the 80s and 90s as far as body cop movies go.
What about you, Eric? I'm assuming you've never even seen this film.
Nah, I have never seen this movie. Like Oscar said, it's a pretty standard, 80s, 90s buddy cop movie. It's not breaking any ground. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger in the height of his comedic prowess. So there's that. I don't know. It's not like a particularly bad movie or like a particularly good movie. It just kind of is a movie that exists. It's not like one of those movies that I'm going to go back to and say, this is Arnold Schwarzenegger being the freaking greatest or whatever. It's just going to be me just going hey, remember that one time that Arnold was a Russian for no reason? Yeah, that was weird. They could have just made him Austrian and that would have been fine. I don't know. That's what I took away from this movie. Why does Arnold play anything other than just himself? Because that's all he really does anyways.
Well, look, you two, I really like this movie. So
of course you did.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It has some charm to it, right?
It wasn't bad. It just wasn't. Uh-huh. I'm not going to I'm not going to make it my yearly Arnold Schwarzenegger movie now.
I think there's not enough comedy. It's played a little too straight in certain spots.
No, it is.
Because the best parts of this film are Arnold fish out of water, USSR cop in the United States, and him not understanding American phrases, and him not understanding what Miranda rights are. That's the best part of this movie is Arnold as a total fish out of water. And that's my favorite part of the movie because he's I do not want to touch his ass. Or do you know Miranda? I've never heard of the bitch. And then he punches the guy in the face. That's the best parts of this movie. And there's not enough of it.
I was surprised by that. I don't know if it's the movie's fault. There are jokes that are just not funny. Or if the comedy which is kind of weird when you have, that contrast between, Schwarzenegger and Belushi. Yeah, you kind of at least expect them to try a bit more. But no, it's played for the most part pretty straight. There are definitely funny moments. There's one that I really like. It's kind of like the beginning. I think that for the first time, he peeks. He's looking around in his whole new hotel room, and he's turning on the TV, and suddenly he comes across porn, and then he's capitalism. I wanted more of that kind of stuff.
It's disappointing that it's played so straight.
They could have just really, really went for it and just hammed it up super hard, and then this movie would have been better. I think I don't know. There is that kind of, straight humor where you play it so straight that it's funny, but it doesn't quite get there either. It's just kind of in this weird in-between state where it's not straight enough to be funny because it's straight, and it's also not played up enough to be just outrageous. I don't know.
I think my issue with parts of this movie, it almost feels like two different movies because you have Edo Ross who's playing just a total baddie, a really good bad guy almost out of a different film. And then you have Arnold and Jim Belushi where it's kind of this buddy cop film, but Edward O. Ross is like a total turd in this movie. And like, he's a really good villain. And it just almost doesn't seem like the same film, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's not like the tone of the movie seems like it can't really decide like where it wants to be. You know? Yeah.
I mean, he's great in this film. I mean, Edo Ross is a fantastic actor.
Yeah. No, I mean, even like, you know, him and even Belushi and Schwarzenegger and all those guys, it's not like anybody is bad in this movie. It's just like, I don't know, it's a little all over the board.
I think, like you mentioned, Eric, it is a little weird to see Arnold like trying to be Russian.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not that it doesn't work very well, but it's a little strange.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they could have I actually thought that was.
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters, and Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror. We'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
It's pretty funny, and so I feel like they could have just pushed that like really hard. Like, look how funny it is that like Arnold's being Russian, and it's like kind of weird, right? And like this is kind of funny, and like that he's like being Russian, but like he's not good at being Russian. But I don't know, they didn't really like play it up, you know? They were just kind of like, Arnold's Russian, and we're all like, well, not convincingly.
I mean, he's not convincingly Russian.
No, but I think, like I said, this movie's not particularly bad. It's just like you tweak a couple of things and like you go a little bit harder or like focus a little bit more on, you know, doing X, Y, and Z with the characters, then I think this movie makes more sense and could be a lot funnier. Like one of those movies is just like outrageous and it's like not quite there.
Well, and that's the other thing with this film, right? Is you have a film that's trying to be this buddy cop comedy, and instead of focusing on that, they focus on like a throwaway character like Gina Gershon's character, which does, again, I'm not even sure why she's in this film because her character adds nothing.
Because Gina Gershon's hot, dude.
Well, yeah, was hot. Not so much anymore.
I don't know. I still think Gina Gershon's hot.
But, like, she doesn't add anything to this film.
Yeah.
And so her character feels kind of like a waste. And then the whole film just, it doesn't seem to understand that the best part of this film is Belushi and Arnold's interaction, because it doesn't give us enough. And so what you end up being left with is wanting more of Arnold and Jim Belushi just like doing the Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan thing from Rush Hour. Because like in Rush Hour, right, which I would say is like one of the higher points of buddy comedies, where it's like this like fish out of water buddy cop comedy, they give Jackie Chan's character ample time to be like, he doesn't understand this culture because he's not from America. And so like, it's Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan's like playing off of that. In this film, they don't really give Arnold enough time to play off of American culture.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because that's, like I said, that's, for me, that's the funniest part and the best part of this film. And Arnold's just like random one-liners and him walking around like half naked at the beginning of the film for God knows what reason.
Yeah.
I will say that another one of the, like, you know, within this, that's like another one of the movie's issues, you know, character-wise and probably even performance-wise, is that I pretty much think that both Belushi and Arnie, they both have like the same temperament as characters. It's like not exactly the same. Like I guess Belushi is supposed to be a little bit more sarcastic, but they're both like pissed off the whole time, and it's understandable because of the circumstances they're in. But it doesn't really allow for a lot of dynamism, to really go into interactions in a way that would actually be funnier,
Well, no, and actually, you know what? You're completely right. So another buddy cop film that came out recently, The Hitman's Bodyguard, has this exact same problem where the dynamic between the characters is just, it's not good because there's not enough difference between the two of them. And this film has the exact same problem. Like you want so badly, you really want like Jim Belushi or Arnold to be like able to play off of each other better than they do in this film. Because they don't really like Oscar said, they're not really playing off of each other a whole lot because their temperament is the same.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh yeah, Jim Belushi says like fuck more often, but like they kind of have the same temperament.
Yeah.
And so where's the difference? Like how can they play off of one another when they both are kind of just like pissed because both of their partners died to Ed O. Ross.
Yeah.
And there's something else like in the way kind of like both character arcs, they don't really seem that motivated, like towards the end where Arnie, like he goes crazy with the bus and they crash and everything. That almost seemed a little bit out of character. Like for me, like kind of like the way I was seeing it was that like Belushi was leaning more towards being the loose cannon, sort of. I don't really understand like what they did there. Why Arnie was kind of made the one to do the whole thing with the bus. Like it's a cool moment at all, but it doesn't really seem that motivated. Yeah. And I think there probably are parts of the movie that are a little bit like that as well.
Well, I mean, you're right. The characters, they don't have much of an arc. They don't really make like a journey either. Like there's this scene towards the end of the film where you're supposed to be like, oh, look at look at these characters and look at the journey that they've gone on, and they exchange watches at the end of the film. But like that ending scene feels so undeserved. It feels so, like it really doesn't feel like they come to that deservedly. It feels like kind of forced, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally does. It totally does.
And again, I like this film. Like, don't get me wrong. I enjoy this film, but there are, watching it again, it's just, there's problems I have with this film that I didn't notice last time I watched it. And the last time I watched it was before I started the website. So that may have something to do with it. But, just looking at it now, it's just, there are some notes that this film has that just fall so flat. And
yeah.
Man, it's an Arnold film. It's an Arnold action film made in the 80s. Like, it's not that hard. Like, it's not that hard to get this right.
And it's kind of odd because, like, at the helm, the director and one of the writers of the movie is Walter Hill. And, he's not, he's Walter Hill. He knows the guy behind the Warriors and, those kinds of movies. Like, he's a smart guy, especially when it comes to action. I think that he's, like, I don't think his output's what it used to be now, but back then in the 80s, that was kind of like his heyday. He's one of the better action writers out there. So it's kind of a little bit weird that he didn't really, who knows what might have happened, but it's a bit odd that, like, this is not a better movie than it is, or at least a more fun one.
Well, let's be honest here. Since the last film that Walter Hill made was a film about Michelle Rodriguez becoming a woman, as a male hitman becoming a woman, he's kind of lost it a little bit.
No, yeah, but this was still in the 80s.
Right, yeah, no, in the 80s, Walter Hill could do no wrong. I mean, he was one of the executive producers of the Tales from the Crypt. I mean, he worked on and wrote some of the biggest films of the 80s. I mean, 48 Hours, Aliens.
Streets of Fire.
Yeah, so, when we talk about Walter Hill, he's a really successful writer in the 80s. And it is disappointing that this film doesn't, I don't know, it's just disappointing that this film doesn't come close to what it could have been. Because, most people don't even know about this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Right? And like everybody knows Terminator, everybody knows Last Action Hero, everybody knows a lot of the other Arnold films, but this one is kind of like the odd man out. Almost,
yeah.
It's not a terrible movie.
No, it's just, I don't know, it's just not nearly as good.
And here's the thing, I think that back in the day, like, it made money, like it made its money back and a little bit more, but it wasn't a smash hit, and it seemed like everybody was expecting it to be a smash hit. And, you look at the premise, you look at the cast, you look at the director, and you think, you know what, even if this movie was bad, it could have been a bit more. It could have been more money because of all those elements. Because you have all these melting pot of things that were pretty cool in the 80s, that people were rushing to see in the movies. And, this movie came out the same year as Twins, and Twins was the bigger hit, and it's the one, all those two movies, the one people still talk about, and the ones people still go rent or check out on Netflix or whatever. And yeah, because it seemed like back in the 80s, just about every other Schwarzenegger movie from back then is remembered, and this one, it just seemed to have gotten lost in the shuffle. You can see why, because it's not particularly. There really isn't anything like that stands out about it, and the way it should be, other than Arnie, being Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's take a commercial break, and we'll keep talking about the film when we get back.
Who is Carl Kolchak?
He's a reporter.
Now that is news, Vincenzo. News! And we are a newspaper. We are supposed to print news, not suppress it.
With the INS.
What's an INS?
Independent news service, sir, founded in 1904 by Enrico Paluzzi.
Who seems to have a nose for the strange and unusual.
Well, last year in Las Vegas, I uncovered a series of murders that turned out to have been committed by a vampire.
And what is the Kolchak Tapes?
It's a podcast.
All about Carl Kolchak.
What's a Kolchak?
The Night Stalker.
And where can you get it?
On iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at www.kolchaktapes.com.
As foolish a game as any that Gory the Ghoul could make up.
Movies have become a portal to a vast and growing pop culture universe, but you don't need to go over the rainbow to get your pop culture fix. Just head to Rainbow Comics, Cards, and Collectibles. They are your one-stop shop for comics, toys, posters, games, and more. Not a pop...
Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and I, we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from 3 very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Dev Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production Podcast Network. We hope to see you online.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface-level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind-the-scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off, or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
Pop culture nerd? No problem. They have something for everyone, including a wide array of sports cards, collectible card games, even memorabilia. Stop by one of their 2 locations today. The flagship location at 3310 South Minnesota Avenue, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or their newest location at 1501 Pine Lake Road, Suite 17, Lincoln, Nebraska. Most importantly, don't forget to add them on Facebook for pop culture news, weekly live videos, and special events.
Here's what some people are saying about the Projection Booth podcast.
Week after week, I'm mesmerized by the focus given great films and questionable films alike. But every episode is a learning and entertaining experience.
This is hands down the best movie podcast. They cover so many different genres across so many years, from obscure movies to blockbusters.
If there's only one podcast about movies and cinema that you listen to, make it this one.
The Projection Booth podcast, with new episodes available every week at projectionboothpodcast.com.
Alrighty, and we're back and we're talking about Red Heat. So kind of similar to when I talked about Hitman's Bodyguard a couple weeks back with Russ. Where does this kind of rank against like other 80s action films? Like, is this in like the top third, like the middle third, or the bottom third? Because I know where this is for me, but I'm curious for you guys where it ranks.
For me, it would be like in the lower third or the middle third, if that makes sense. I don't think it does. I hope you understand what I'm saying here. Like at the bottom of the middle.
I don't know. Where would I even put this movie? I don't even know where I would put it. Not great. I'd put it closer to the bottom, probably.
It's too bad that it's not like a 48 Hours or a Rush Hour or hell, even a Lethal Weapon. Like, it has all the elements.
Yeah.
Like, baked into it. I
does.
don't know who thought it was a good idea to make Arnie Russian. As opposed to, like you said, just Austrian.
Yeah, who knows, man?
It is really funny that the bigger film of the year was Twins.
Yeah, well, Twins is just better, dude.
If they had made Arnie Austrian, could they still have, the whole plot about him, being, like a communist, thing about the USSR and, that whole idea behind the movie?
So that's the thing. So obviously they couldn't, and that's what a lot of this, like, that's what a lot of this is played for, right? Like, a lot of this is played for, like, 80s Cold War, like, hysteria, USSR. Like, all of that is played in this film, like, and that's kind of hard for us to comprehend in 2017. I mean, I guess not entirely, but, like, the Russia hysteria is back in some respect, but it's not like we've got nukes pointed at each other. And so, in the 80s, that was kind of the feeling, was that, it was the Cold War. So, that was kind of what was going on there. I mean, this is the first film ever given permission to film in the Red Square, so it's like this film was kind of, I think someone was like, all right, we need to figure out a way to film in the Red Square with Arnold Schwarzenegger. How can we do this? Because, like, that's a pretty striking, like, visual of Arnold Schwarzenegger standing in the Red Square in, like, full, like, Russian attire, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it, considering how this is the first film ever able to film in the Red Square, like, first American film. Like, if you think about that, like, that's pretty impressive for this film. Like, that moment is in this film of all films, right? Like, so, I just wish that they had put in a little bit more thought and effort into writing the comedic aspects, because buddy cop films and Arnold films to some extent are predicated on their ability to mesh humor and action. And this film, honestly, also is lacking in action to some extent. There's not a lot of it.
Yeah.
Well, two things. Like, first of all, like, you made me think another thing that didn't work for me in the film either, that I don't think, like, again, I mean, it's 1988, and unfortunately, like, I didn't, like, I wouldn't be born for, like, another year after that, and I guess I'm not as fully aware, of history as I would like, but I think that they were trying to play into the whole, like, Cold War paranoia aspect of it. They just didn't bring it enough into the film, you don't really feel like any real tension between Arnie as a character, the American characters. You really don't feel that, I think. And again, it does make you wonder, like, why was it even, like, brought up into the film? Like, again, it's an interesting tension, but it's not really, like, exploited enough. Other than what you've said before, how, like, the whole fish out of water thing that comes in, like in the first act of the film, then forgotten, thrown away. And the other thing, well, it hasn't really, like, I thought the whole, bus chase at the end, that was pretty neat. It's kind of like a precursor to Speed if you think about it. But
yeah, but I mean, there's just not enough of that in the film.
Yeah, there isn't. There really isn't. And the action set piece for me told me that I wish there was more of that in the movie, because it was pretty neat and it felt dangerous and it felt cool. But yeah, there wasn't enough of it.
And that's really disappointing.
It is.
Because it's an Arnold film. Like, think about Terminator 2,
Oh, yeah.
Think about, I don't know, Last Action Hero. Think about most Arnold films. Like, you can name, like, really good action scenes from those films, and then you have this film and it's like the bus scene at the end, and, like, I guess the fight in the brothel, not the brothel, like the bathhouse at the beginning of the movie. But, like, there's not a whole lot of, like, really memorable action scenes in this film. And, like, what are you doing if you're going to have Arnold in a film and not have a lot of action?
It's not really an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, is it?
I mean, not in the way, like, Terminator is.
I mean,
it's kind of weird, right? Like, you have Arnold in this film and they didn't, like, put a lot of action. Like, why?
I don't know. Maybe they were trying to go for the more comedic, like, stuff. I mean, I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you.
Well, where does this rank for you guys among Arnold films?
like pretty low.
Right. I mean, like, there are some bad Arnold films out there.
Yeah.
Junior, Jingle All the Way.
But those movies are like so bad they're good.
Right,
you
but
know?
they're still bad. End of Days. End of Days is just bad.
Mm-hmm.
It is. That movie is just bad.
Terminator 3. Like, I would say this film is better than, like, Terminator 3 or End of Days.
Yeah, I mean, definitely better than End of Days or whatever, but I don't know.
I mean, look, this is not Total Recall, right? You know.
No,
not at all.
This is not Terminator 2. This is not Last Action Hero. Like, this is not one of those films that, like, I look back on and I'm like, yeah, I really, like, love this film.
But even then, you know, it's not Junior, or it's not Terminator 3, as you say. Again, for me, I would place it definitely on the lower part of the middle, because it's not really bad, and it's entertaining enough, but it just doesn't do enough, you know, in order to really go higher than that. Like either as an Arnie movie or even as a general action movie, you know, it just doesn't do enough.
And you really feel like you have Arnold in this film. You have Walter Hill and Arnold in interviews saying that they always wanted to work together. And so this is that film. And it's like, you always wanted to work together. And this is what we get out of it. Like this, like, it's like, this isn't good enough. Like, this is not good enough for me, when you're like saying that you really wanted to work together. And like, this is the outcome of that. Like, how?
I don't know. Just got too hyped up or whatever.
That's kind of strange, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, people in the 80s, they, like, directors and writers in the 80s knew how to use Arnold. Like, Arnold was the king of the 80s, right? Predator, Terminator, Total Recall came out in 90, but I mean, you know, close enough, right? Like, you have all of these films that are like, this is what Arnold is known for. Running Man, Commando. And then you have this film, and it's like, guys, this film is sandwiched between The Running Man, which is one of Arnold's better films, and Twins. Like, Twins is not a bad movie, but I mean, Twins is a very different kind of Arnold film. It's a comedic Arnold film, which, like, Arnold doesn't have the best comedic timing, but when he has a writer who is writing comedy for him that understands that Arnold is not a comedic actor, it works better. And when you have a comedic director like Ivan Reitman, you know, who directed Ghostbusters, when you have someone like him directing Arnold, well, then it works. But, you know, you're not gonna get a quality comedic performance out of Arnold unless you have someone who knows what they're doing. And it's kind of strange to me that Walter Hill couldn't get that out of Arnold, and that he couldn't write a script that really balanced comedy and action together in a film where that is needed. And, like, not even... The strange thing about this film is they don't even let Jim Belushi be funny.
No, not at all.
Yeah, like I said, it's played too straight, and I don't know, just like...
Every time there is comedy, you're like, wow, that was a good respite from this, like, really strange, serious... Like, one of the characters in this film just dies off screen.
Yeah.
And, really, like, she just dies off screen. And if you, like, blink and you'll miss it. Like, if you went to grab a drink out of the fridge and you come back, like, you'll have missed the scene because it was, like, 30 seconds. Like, the film doesn't seem to know, like... I don't know. The film doesn't seem to know what it's doing. Like, the tagline for the film is Moscow's toughest detective and Chicago's craziest cop. Like, is Jim Belushi really that crazy?
Nah.
In this film?
No, not really. And that's the thing I said before. Like, you really, with the temperaments, you really don't get the sense of difference between either of them. Or something that pushes them enough as characters. So no, not really. I mean, it doesn't live up to the premise, you know, to the promise of the premise.
Yeah, which is, you know, hilarity of a Russian cop in the United States paired up with, you know, a loudmouth, wisecracking asshole American.
Right. Exactly.
Like, he keeps calling him Gumby over and over again, but, like, that's only funny, like, the first time.
Yeah, and does it even make sense as an insult? Like, I remember Gumby, I just don't see, like, the connection there.
I guess he's tall and is green,
like
insulting. Yeah, it kind of falls flat.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like, it felt like an ad-lib by Belushi that was just left in, and, you know, they just didn't know what to make of it. And it's like, let's leave it in. Might work for somebody.
Well, Oscar, what would you give this film out of 5?
Out of 5?
Mm-hmm.
It's like 2, maybe 2.5 if I'm being generous, but not like I feel like a 2 appropriate, like 2 out of 5.
What about you, Eric?
2 seems pretty generous. Yeah, I don't know. I would give it maybe like a 2. Yeah, 2 seems pretty right on.
Yeah, I give it like a 3. Again, I like this. I can overlook some of the things in this movie a little bit probably more than a lot of other people can. I mean, I love Arnold Schwarzenegger to death. It's just, it needed more comedy. It needed to be punched up by comedy just a little bit more. And I think it would have been a much better film.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. It's just like, it's not bad. It's just like, it's not funny. Like, I don't know. I want it to be funny.
Belushi is not funny enough. Like, he has to play off of Arnold being so straight, and he's just not funny enough. So,
man, that's true.
Yeah, I totally agree.
What do you guys think the film has on Rotten Tomatoes?
I'd say like a 44%.
I'm going to say that it has less. I'm going to give it in the 20, maybe 30 percentile.
62%.
Oh, wow.
Weird.
Well, you can't all be winners, but apparently this one's more of a winner.
Oh, God damn it.
It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, it is. I mean, again, it's because it's not terrible. Like, I had fun watching it, but after I was like, okay, that's it. Again, I didn't have the highest expectations, but you kind of expect at least for it to be like funnier or to have more action, and that didn't really do either.
Well, we're going to take another break, and we'll play a preview for next week's show.
When you're a kid, you think the universe revolves around you. You think that you'll always be protected and cared for. Then, one day, you realize that's not true. Because when you're alone as a kid, the monsters see you as weaker. You don't even know they're getting closer. Till it's too late. Here. Take it.
My grandfather thinks this town is cursed. That all the bad things that happen in this town are because of one thing. An evil thing.
Bill, if you'll come with me, you'll float too.
Georgie. I saw something.
The clown. Yeah, I saw him too. We'll float too.
What happens when another Georgie goes missing? Or one of us?
We'll float too.
Are you just gonna pretend it isn't happening like everyone else in this town? If we stick together, we'll win.
That's right. We'll be back next week with a discussion of It, the 2017 adaptation of Stephen King's classic. So, Oscar, it's been quite a long time since we've had you on a Kulturecast. What have you been up to?
Well, mostly working. Like right now, I have you could say I got 2 or 3. Like I've gone between, I actually been having 2 and 3 jobs because like my 2 constant day jobs, they are teaching and being a teaching assistant. And other than that, I'm a freelance writer as well. So sometimes I have to, they ask me to write for, for other magazines and people, but it's very inconstant and also to make music videos. Sometimes I make music videos as well. Like I did one back in July. And so, I just go back and forth between those 2, but my day jobs, they keep me pretty busy. So I've been with that, and also I've been doing I've been doing like an MFA in creative writing for the last year. So I've been doing all the stuff for the MFA as well, and I've been like writing a lot because of it as well. So it's been like all those things that's put together. So I've been pretty busy. It's been a pretty crazy year for the most part, but I've had fun and I'm pretty happy with what I've been doing. It's been a lot of work though. That's for sure.
What about you, Eric? What have you been up to?
Just the same old. Living La Vida Loca. I don't know. Just hanging out, watching movies, playing music. We're going on tour in like 10 days. So if you want to come and get your ears blasted on the West Coast, come and check us out. We're going to Canada. Shit's going to be cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Where can people find you and your band, Ding Dong?
Oh, I don't know. If you want to check out the band, Wovoka, you can find us at on the internet at wovoka.com. That's not even true. We don't have a website called wovoka.com. I don't even know why I said that. You can find us on Bandcamp. You can buy our latest split that just came out through Pelagic Records. You can follow me on Twitter and shit at Tycho Magnetics. I just complain about stuff and talk about movies that I watch and, the standard Twitter fare. And, every once in a while, it's just, I don't know. There's some gems, maybe. I don't think so. But, that's it. That's it for me.
Well, and you can follow me on Twitter at CultureStash, and you can follow the website at CultureShocked. Please head on over to cultureshocked.com where you can find out more about today's episode. You'll find links over to iTunes where you can rate and review the show, and to Patreon where you can kick a couple dollars our way. Donors get access to unreleased episodes, DVDs, and the chance to guest co-host a Kulturecast. Big thanks as always to Eric and Wovoka for allowing us to use their intro song Lament.
Yeah.
Big thanks as always to Eric and Wovoka for letting us use their song Lament as the intro song of the Kulturecast, and to my good friend The Decipher for allowing us to use his song Two Step as the outro song. And as always, big thanks to you, Oscar, for sitting down and talking Red Heat with us.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. And by the way, I should add, I now have a website. Like I haven't really. It's been out for a while now, but I haven't really released it yet. But I will right now on this podcast exclusively. It's inkfilminc.com. It's again ink like INK films INC.com. So check it out. I have a bunch of my videos right there and one of my scripts. I'll be uploading more videos as they come.
That's awesome.
So yeah, make sure to head over to inkfilmsinc.com to check out Oscar's website, and we'll see you next week.
Posted with the crew. You know how we do, I'm just two-step. Drink in my right hand, phone in my other hand, getting to the money. Oh man, two-step. Posted with the crew. Yeah. You know how we do.
Hey, two-stepping, know what I'm saying? 1, 2, 1, 2. Benjamin, aka the Black T, you know what I'm saying? Catch me with my crew every day. Two-step. Phone in my other hand, like, hello? Oh, get into the money, man. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.